There you go.
Is that too much? Sorry. I really am so awkward with TikTok.
Perfect. Yeah,
Awesome.
there you go. All right.
And we can drink while we talk?
That's the goal. Yeah. Yeah, splitting a bottle. We're splitting a bottle of Aperol.
We're literally splitting.
Yeah.
I love it.
And everything's already recorded, so we get to just...
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay. Really quick, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you include all of this in there.
I usually cut it out.
Okay, great. I was going to say... cursing, not like I'm that much of a sailor, but
Go for it.
Are you sure? Okay,
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure in case I say shit or damn.
Yeah. Nick swore when he came on,
Did
if you
he
can
now?
believe that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, right? So...
Well, your drinking game to that.
Right? And yeah, so whenever I upload them, they're usually I mark not for kids, which basically covers that.
Smart.
Yeah. Cheers.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Aperol spritzes with some silly straws.
I was going to say,
I can't think of a better. Can't think of a better...
And you make a very good Aperol spritz.
Thank you. I went for, if it wasn't going to be the best, it was at least going to be the coldest. So everything was sitting in the freezer for like an hour before you got here, which on a day like today, which I think it's like 91 degrees out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were telling me right before you came on that you took a cab because you couldn't do the subway.
Oh, yeah.
And all that.
Confirmed. As a New York City dog walker, I am all too well accustomed to the heat waves that we experience every July. So yeah, I took the bullet and took a car here because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Did you? I don't mean to put this out there. Did you happen to catch the weather report for next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
So in order to prevent, some preemptive sadness, I don't look at the weather until the night before. Otherwise, I'm just looking forward to terrible weather.
Got it.
Because I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm pretty sure next week is going to be the same.
No, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
We love humidity and 100 degrees.
I love walking out the door and feeling like I just dove into a sweaty pool.
Oh, yeah, it's really fun. I just love being moist.
Yeah.
Just, like, sweating. It's very healthy.
All the time.
Constant glow.
Constant glow. Dewy. Fortunately, we're still both young, and dewy looks like it's on purpose.
Yes. It's the Gen Z thing, right?
Yeah.
They love the dewy look.
Yeah.
It's in right now. So, as New Yorkers, we'll just use it to our advantage.
I work at 2 restaurants right now, and the only reason that's worse than the dog walking thing is I'm sure you don't have, like, a uniform.
No, thank goodness.
I have a uniform at one and then a dress code at the other. Basically, no sportswear. And both places have had their air conditionings fail in the last couple weeks.
That's so inhumane.
So I've been working.
Sorry.
There's a review actually. I'll just paraphrase it. And I'll cut out where I work. I'm at the Smith in Lincoln Center.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I love the Smith.
Right? It's great. Come on in. I'll give you a bunch of free stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. The review, because they came in, whoever left the review came in last week, our air conditioning completely failed. So not even like half capacity, keeping it at like 79 degrees. It was like completely 93 degrees in there.
And they didn't close down?
No.
Because I don't, as
Money.
a restaurant patron, I wouldn't even want to dine there. I mean, that's so uncomfortable.
We gave away a lot of stuff
That-
to a lot of unhappy people that night.
They might have saved more money if they just didn't open at all.
Honestly, I think
Seriously.
because you've been, right? You know it's a huge restaurant.
Yeah.
You know that there's a ton of back of house, a ton of front of house.
Big operation.
So it's a lot. So the amount of money they spend per hour is huge on just wages. And then we gave away a bunch of food, so we're just cutting into what we're making.
Oh my gosh.
I think they might have actually lost money that day.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it.
Yeah.
They should have just cut their losses and given you
Just
the day
given
off.
us all the
just
day
one
off.
day.
Yeah.
But not to go on that tangent, but that's America for you.
No, seriously.
Can't give people a day off.
They won't. They never will. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
But the review said, I'll never dine at the... I'm going to not say it. I'll never dine here again. The air conditioning was broken. It was over 90 degrees in there. I couldn't tell if the food was salty because of the salt from the kitchen or from my sweat falling into the food.
It's actually very clever. That's fine.
Yeah. And I felt so bad for the staff. I'm considering calling the, what's it called? the Department of Labor on Monday as a favor to the staff who was forced to work under such inhumane conditions.
Whew. Well, someone has your back. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but like long term, that's a horrible reputation. They
Oh,
clearly
yeah.
did not think that one through. We
No.
live in a world where people are always waiting for an opportunity to write a review on something.
Mm-hmm.
People love to troll, love to be online. They just did not consider that people
Yeah.
would be so quick to do that, I guess. I'm
It was-
sorry.
Or they, for some reason, thought, oh, we can handle it, like we're too big to fail, but that's not the case.
No.
No one's too big to fail.
No. I mean, I wrote a really bad review on the meatball shop on the Upper East Side.
And now they're done.
They're no longer open.
Ah,
Sorry.
do you remember the
Was it
meatball
my
shop?
review?
I hope not, because I'd be secretly a little mad at you. I used to love the meatball
Sorry.
shop.
No, well, we did too, and we had the worst experience of our life. And I've never written a review. I don't do that. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
It has to be really, really bad for me to do that.
Yeah.
And it
was really, really bad, yeah.
It was really bad. Yeah.
That sucks.
It
What
was
happened?
it was the service, just generally. The servers, the person I was dining with wanted pasta without the meatballs. They don't eat meat, and that's like, I know it's weird going to the meatball shop if you don't
It
eat
happens,
meat. But
sure.
how hard is it?
Just
to
don't put the meatballs
Just don't
on.
put the meatballs in.
Yeah.
And not only did we endure mockery, like to our faces, they were laughing at us and being very rude about it. They wanted to charge her the full thing, and she's like, well, can't I just get like I don't know, just like a thing of
Yes.
pasta? And they're like, well, it has to be like a side. She's like, but can I get like a full? Can you just put two sides
Yeah,
in a
in
giant
one bowl. Yeah.
And they wouldn't do it. It was just really weird. It was really bizarre. I don't know. Maybe I overreacted. Saying it out loud now, it sounds really silly.
No,
sounds
it's.
like a Curb Your
I don't.
Enthusiasm
I just.
episode, but
Did you ever see? I forget what the show was, but it was Ricky Gervais where he went to eat with his son, and he's like, "We're gonna do 2 of the kids' breakfasts."
no, but that
And
sounds funny.
the waitress is like, "I can't do 2." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not that hungry. I just want like a small
Yeah.
portion." She's like, "Yeah, but you're not a kid. It's cheaper because it's for a kid's breakfast." He's like, "Yeah, but it's because it's a smaller portion. It's not because he's working making less money than I am an adult. It's because it's a kid's portion." And then she's like, "I can't do it." And Ricky Gervais is like, "Okay, he'll have 2 breakfasts." And she's like, "You're gonna eat one." He's like, "No, I'm not." And then it comes and he just grabs the entire thing.
Exactly. Like, what are you gonna do?
Just
You're gonna
give 'em-
stop
yeah.
a parent from eating their kid's food if they don't
Right.
finish it?
The parent's
What?
paying either way.
Seriously, you're making money. It
Put the
doesn't
two-
matter who eats it.
Put the 2 pastas in one bowl.
Yeah.
That's
mean,
yeah. Just
I mean,
put the 2 pastas
again,
in one bowl.
These rules that we've somehow, there's no basis for them. I really
Yeah.
will never understand.
I've gotten to the point, I'm 33 now. I don't know. Yeah. I've gotten to the point where I pretty much will say yes to anything because it's not that deep. Like at the restaurant. It's like, "Hey, can we get this on a plate instead of a bowl?" Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yes.
I'm just gonna ask the chef, "Hey, they want it on a plate." Why? I didn't ask. Why would I ask?
Well, what happens?
Just put
if
it on
the
a plate.
customer is always right? I mean, it
I
kind of
mean-
goes under. Well, I mean, that's a dangerous thing to say too.
Yeah.
But because people will totally exploit that and
Yes.
take advantage. But something as simple and easy as that.
Yeah.
Not asking too much.
Put-
It's like it's a weird thing, but that's what they want. Does it
what
matter?
If it's easy to do, like not put the meatballs on the thing, don't put the meatballs on the thing.
Yeah.
I would go to the manager and be like, "Hey, can we?" I don't know if it was like $18 or something, but I'd be like, "Hey, can we knock $6 off this? They didn't get the meatballs."
Yeah.
Sure, why not? It's like, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Really.
Yeah.
And it's no harm, no foul.
I know you've been doing the dog walking thing for a while. Did you ever do restaurants or bars or anything?
I did when I was in high school, and that is kind of how I discovered very early on that I was horrible at it. And
Sure.
I knew when I moved to New York, that was just, I'm just not cut out for it. And it's why I have so much respect. Not only do I personally know people like yourself and other friends who do waitress and do bartend and have been for years. Outside of even my personal relationships with servers, just having done it, I understand how difficult that is and how brutal and exhausting and draining that is. That is some of the toughest work you could do in the service industry. And I I just have so much respect for you. I don't know how you do it. I would cry. I would probably cry a lot. And I already do cry a lot. So imagine me in a kitchen also crying. Not great. So
It's
kudos to you. Especially in the city.
yeah, it's definitely, and I've kind of done it like at one of the better restaurants, and then I've done it in dive bars and kind of everywhere in between, and it's just it's not fun most of the time, but every once in a while you do get a table that's a lot of fun. Like I was working at my other spot, not the one that we've talked about already, and I had a table, and I find out that they're all from Michigan, and I'm like, oh, whereabouts in Michigan? Oh, they're from my hometown. Oh, whereabouts in my hometown? They lived one street away from me,
Oh my gosh.
from where I grew up.
What a small world.
Seriously.
That's a really happy, serendipitous moment. And that's also why we love New York, for those moments. But, you know, I mean, that's it's like the nice, like the nice patrons. You're reminded, even just generally being in this city, every time someone shows like an ounce of kindness and respect, you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
we're not entirely doomed. Like people,
No.
there are still good people out there who enjoy good service, and you know, they're there for it.
Yeah.
They're receptive to your kindness and
I
what
find
you're offering.
I find that people tend to be pretty chill in the city as long as it's not 1,000 degrees out, and as long as you're not in their way or slowing them down.
Yes.
I think those are the two big things, and the temperature thing is really just a July and August thing. But year round, it's as long as you're not in their way. Like I rarely yell at strangers, but yesterday yesterday I was going to work, and there was this guy I was getting off the subway, and there's a guy, so the door's open, a guy with a stroller's blocking basically one half of the way. And then this massive guy, I'm not trying to be rude, he's just blocking the entire way, steps onto the train before anyone steps off, and he gestures for me to get out of the way. And I'm like, dude, I have to get off. I'm not going to let you get by and let the 5 people behind you on as I struggle to get off and let the doors close. It was just, I think the heat kind of takes common sense away from people.
I don't know. I'm such a pessimist when honestly I should come back for an entirely separate episode just to talk about subway stories, because
I mean, we can do that.
the amount of subway stories I have of the absolute absurdity and lack of courtesy is like putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Just the people not caring. It's like I don't know if people are actually like stupid and unaware of what's going on, or if I don't know what's worse, that or them actively not caring and just doing things like that. You see it all the time. The subway is, oh gosh. I used to live on the Upper East Side where I worked.
Yeah, you texted me. I didn't realize you were in where you are, and I'm not going to blast you where you are.
Oh, it's all right. We can say the general neighborhood. I know all my fans are gonna wait outside my apartment.
Yeah. But I didn't realize you were all the way over there. I thought you were still Upper East.
No. I moved to Williamsburg 2 years ago. Flew. It's so crazy. 2 years ago. I'm a Brooklyn girl, and I love it. And I wish I'd moved out there sooner, honestly. I love that borough, and I love Williamsburg in particular. So I wasn't used to commuting. I was working and living on the Upper East Side for 8 years, and I had obviously take the subway because you're a New Yorker and you do, but I had never experienced the commute, the dreaded commute, and it is, well, I mean, it's like hell.
Yeah.
I every day. There's not one day. Well, there's some days, like someone will say, "Well, how was your day?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't come across any assholes today. Like, no one went out of their way to make my life miserable. So I guess that's a good day."
Which is saying something.
It's like, seriously. Like, I could go on. I've had some really upsetting things happen to me that one of the things I'm learning personally is to let things go, just generally. And especially as a New Yorker who has to use the subway to commute to and from work, the art of letting go, so crucial to survival here, to keep your sanity. Because if you hold on to that aggression and insanity that people are putting out into the world, yeah, you will explode.
You'll explode.
It hurts your
Yeah.
soul. Like, it just eats away at you, and you think about it over and over again. There were days where I'd still be thinking about it, like 4 days later, all the things I wish I would have said, all the things I wish I did. But it's like it happens so fast, these acts of unkindness, that you don't have time to prepare for them. And also, at the end of the day, what good is it to behave the same way back? You're just putting more of that toxicity energy back out. It's not going to get you anywhere.
It's not worth it.
Those people.
It doesn't benefit anyone.
No.
It doesn't make you feel better. It's not like I don't know the expression like letting off steam. It's not letting off steam. It's adding more coal into the boiler, and it's
quite literally stooping to their level. And that's what people like that, I think, kind of enjoy. I think anyone who's going to go out of their way to instigate you or affect you negatively for no reason, completely unwarranted, or do something really lacking compassion, they're definitely people that enjoy getting rises, because it makes, I think, people like that want to bring you down where they are.
I was at a bar in my neighborhood, and I was walking past this guy, and he shoves me out of nowhere. And I'm one, maybe 2 beers in, and like light beers, like I think Narragansett. And so I'm not drunk, and I know I'm not. And he shoves me, and I'm like, what? And he's like, you almost stepped on my foot. And I'm like, almost stepped on your foot? So nothing happened, and you still shoved, okay. And he's like, do you want to go outside? And I'm like, and I know people at this bar. Like, I know the bartenders. It's the neighborhood bar. I know like 5 or 6 other people in the room, and I just do a quick scan, and I'm like, no, I don't want to go outside, but thanks. And so I'm like, okay, bye. And I walk like the 5 feet over to where my friends were sitting down. And then not 30 seconds later, I look over, and he's like swinging on this other guy, falling like out the front door.
Oh my God.
Like, just like he was looking for a fight.
Yeah.
And he was looking for me to be that guy. And I was like, no,
not
this
give
is stupid. I'm not gonna.
Good for you.
And so I walked away, and then it's like you said, he was looking for it.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, he found a guy who was, for the record, twice his size.
Wow.
And
The ego.
Seriously. Seriously. Yeah, I mean, I was bigger than him. He was like 5'6", 5'7". He might have been the same weight as me. He was like stockier than me, but he was also very drunk. And I feel like even if I didn't move, his punches might have missed me.
Yeah.
But
still, you never know. It's like such a gamble with these crazy, angry, especially drunk people. I mean, you really don't want to mess with that unless it's like absolutely necessary.
Well, I've never been in a fight, so I'm not really looking for.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that wasn't your first one.
Yeah. No, it's not something. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm ready for a fight." I'm like, I'm not ready for a fight.
Nobody should be ready for
Nobody
a
should
fight.
be. I mean,
What an exhausting way to be, to constantly be ready for a fight.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, I'm sure if it came to it, I could handle myself, but I'm not.
Well, yeah, because fight or flight, like
Right.
your instincts would kick in. You defend yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're not like preparing when you walk down the street. If someone comes at me, I'm ready to swing at them.
No, definitely not.
Popeye style.
Ugh.
Carry a can of spinach with you.
Seriously.
Well, something similar happened. Well, okay, I'll share one because I really could go on. But because of your story, this happened to me 2 months ago. I was on the queue. I just sat down, like literally just sat down on a seat. Empty train, practically. No one's around me. I thought, let me cross my legs. Let me get comfortable. I literally dog walk for 7 hours a day. Let me just cross my legs like a lady on the subway. No one else is sitting next to me. And as I'm crossing my leg, this guy comes in, and I brush him. I literally I barely touched him. And I kid you not, it was like Theater 101. He goes, oh, and he's like down on the ground, and he's rubbing his calf, and he's like making a scene. And then he has the audacity to sit next to me, and I immediately said sorry. Like, anyone who's going to respond that way, like, it was an accident. I did graze him. I was like, I'm so sorry, sir. And he just kept groaning and going on and on and on about it next to me. And I looked at him, and I was like, dude, I was like, you got an apology. That is more than anyone is going to give you in this
Yeah.
city these days. I was
Yeah.
like, I said sorry. It was an accident. It was bad timing. And he just continued to go off. Like, said some really horrible things to me, names and things. And I moved.
Good.
And but it was just, it was just so unnecessary. It's like, I was like, what do you want? Just, do you want my personal information for your medical bills when you go to the hospital after this? Like, do you want me to like carry you off the train? I am a 5'1", you know, like 110-pound woman. I seriously doubt I harmed him. Even if
Yeah.
I did actually kick him, it was just so unnecessary. And so I had two other New Yorkers on the train once I had moved. They consoled me in a sense.
Yeah.
They, you know, they're like you said, he's just looking for a fight. People are just looking for it now.
Yeah.
People are so angry about probably everything going on, and I don't, or personal stuff, who knows, doesn't matter. You just don't treat strangers that way. You don't talk to people that way. You don't behave that way. You don't pick fights with a young woman who grazed your leg.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so weird.
I gotta wonder what was going on in his mind.
Right?
Like, what was his end game? Because there wasn't going to be a medical bill that you could cover. He wouldn't waste his, because there was nothing wrong.
Nothing.
Like, there wasn't even a scratch. So why go to the emergency room and waste your time? But then also, like, was he gonna try to manipulate you in like a flirty way and get your, like, I'm trying to think
really,
like of
though,
how like I've heard of all of these different things that guys have done that they, like, catcalling out the side of a car when it's like blasting music, and like there's a meme and it's like, hey dude, I saw those 36-inch rims and I heard you call me hey ma, why don't I just drop my pants right here on the street for you? Like, what do you expect me to do? Like,
I know, it's baffling. I mean, it literally, nothing about that kind of behavior makes sense to me. It's just aggression that people are just...
I have to wonder, did it ever work once? Like, where do these ideas come from? Who said, hey, why don't you catcall this girl out this SUV window? Like, I bet it works. It's like, did it ever work before? No. All right. Let's see. Let's see what happens.
Let's try it out. Like, no, I know, exactly. And then it's like when you either ignore advances, it continues, or if you happen to say something back, which I used to, I don't anymore because it was no point.
Right.
It just gives them like more of a reason to continue talking to you. I mean, what's scary now is like people following you. I've heard stories about this happening a lot, like being followed and people continuing that chase, which is uncomfortable. And it's just, catcalling has really taken a very weird turn in the city, because it kind of used to be innocent when I first moved here, and maybe I was younger then, so maybe I was like kind of enjoying it in a way. I was like, oh, okay, thanks, but then it gets weird. It gets really, really weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it. It's like, where do you think this is going to go?
I don't know.
Where does it go?
I don't know. I've never heard of a successful catcall story.
It never works.
I've never heard of one. Not one.
Never works.
There's a girl that I follow who's friends with a friend, Rebecca, who I had on the show a while ago, who did a play called The Moss Maidens. She did a play with this girl, Sydney, who I now follow, and she does these reels because she's been blowing up on TikTok and on Instagram. And she's like, catcalling, it's a comedy one. She's like, catcalling is not okay unless you're hot. And then it's really not okay because like I kind of like it, but I shouldn't. But like, and goes on for like,
exactly. It's
yeah.
Like it's so tough. It's
Yeah.
like, again, sometimes it really is like sweet and innocent and like funny. It's, you know, like
Yeah.
they know they're being funny.
Sure.
And like oh gosh, I hope I'm not like digging myself into a hole here. Obviously, we should not be yelling at women.
Do not catch.
Like, not cool. But I have had some like funny interactions with New Yorkers where it does feel innocent and like my instincts are telling me it's completely for fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't offend me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make me feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to go based off of that feeling almost. It is instinctual.
Have you ever seen the guy online that does the what is it? The wholesome cat calls?
Oh no.
And he's got a megaphone and he's calling to people like across the street from a
love
club, and he's doing through the megaphone. He's like, "Hey girl, you look like you know how to fold a fitted sheet."
Yes.
Or,
See, exactly.
yeah, stuff
that's
like
a great
that.
example.
It's like, "Hey girl, you look like you answer your mom's phone calls on the first ring." Stuff like that. Like stuff that you got to be in a really bad mood to take negatively.
Really, though,
Yeah.
because then that's on the receiver's end if you're being offended by that, because that is quite charming and very
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
not even doing it. I don't think he's doing it to get numbers or anything. I think he's just
No.
doing it for the views and for whatnot.
Totally. Yeah.
But he's got like 4 or 5 of his boys there, and they're like recording, and
Yeah.
it's
love
just
it.
it's just fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And that is fun. And, something I think New Yorkers used to have that we don't have anymore, which is what I felt a lot when I first moved here, was the conversation. I used to have so many, like, people were so willing to just talk to strangers in a normal way, like just like normal conversing, very healthy. It's like, I'm never going to see you again, but we're going to share these like 5 minutes on the subway, and we're going to like have this conversation and then continue with our day.
I've got a good story about this.
Oh,
Keep going.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like that doesn't really happen anymore. Like, people are afraid to talk to people, and the only time you have an interaction with a stranger here now, at least my personal experience, is like a negative one where people are, like you said, blocking the train doors, being really inconsiderate, or like causing problems for no reason, or shoving you for no reason. And it's just kind of sad, because I used to have a lot of those moments, and they always made me fall in love with the city all over again. I'm hoping we can get back to that place. But what's your story? I'm curious.
It was a long time ago, so before lockdown, and I don't remember. I think I was just on my way home from work one night. From the steakhouse. So I'm wearing like tuxedo pants and then like a button-down shirt or a t-shirt or whatever. And this guy comes through and he's just in a good mood, and he's like bebopping around, and there's no music going. But I think it was just like a very positive, vibey subway car. If you've ever been on one of those, like the L tour from Williamsburg on a Friday or Saturday night, always good
Fun
vibes.
crowd.
It was something like that. And he has a 12-pack of beer, and he sits down across from me and he's like, "Hey man, you look like you had a long shift." And he hands me the beer. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna take it. And I open it, and we chatted for like 20 minutes. And then we got to my stop. I was still in this neighborhood, so same subway stop. And I'm like, "Hey man, this is me. I got his name. I think I got his number. Never used it, but then he was like, 'Hey man, you want one for the road?' And I'm like, pass it on to the next one, because like I want someone else to have this experience." And he's like, "All right, man, have a good night." And it was something like, if I ever write a memoir, that's going in that book. Like, that's one of the better subway stories that I've ever had.
Yes, exactly. Things like that. I mean, it sounds so fun and silly, but it really is a simple act of kindness, And it does go a long way. You remember those moments, and not to sound like a cliche, but it just really goes to show, like, kindness truly is contagious. Like, I had the worst day. It was just one of those bad days on the Upper East Side dog walking, where people, similar to the subway, it's Upper East Side, very, the neighborhood, very particular type of personalities, unfortunately, where it's like there's always a lot of feedback. I believe that people hate dog walkers. I believe that is the thing. Nobody likes us out there, even though we're walking your dogs. But it was just one of those days where like people were constantly coming at me for no reason while I was just trying to get through I'm just trying to walk dogs. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm really staying in my lane, trying to stay out of everybody's way. It's like, trust me, I don't want to be in your way. I want nothing to do with any of you. I just want to walk these adorable, sweet, precious angels to the park and back. And it was just bad. And I went to Starbucks, and for whatever reason, I don't remember this barista, but he remembered me. He remembered my name, and I hadn't been there in months. And he's like, "Here, it's on me." And he gave me a free drink and snack, and And I was like, you have no idea how much this means to me. I know this sounds very silly, but I just had the worst work day of my life. I experienced so many just unkind people today, and it was just, again, not saying you need to get free drinks to have to like is the only act of kindness, but it is, and it's nice when people see you and they treat you almost without even knowing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just important, and it put me in such a good mood immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, what a kind person. Thank you for just being kind.
Yeah.
And it was just, then I was in a good mood, and then I was being extra overly nice to everyone after that. And I don't know. I just really hope that we can. It feels good to do things like that. That kind of energy is good energy. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I keep bringing this up. I'm feeling a lot of animosity towards New York. I don't know if you've like picked up on this.
I mean, same all the time.
I'm so tired of it.
It's a lot.
It's exhausting. You've been here just as long as I have, and so you know, I feel like it was like a love-hate thing for a while, then love, and now it's kind of like hate. I'm hoping to get back to the love-hate part, but it's tough. People are tough, and it's important to note that it's post-pandemic New York, not pre-pandemic, because pre-pandemic New York, I did not feel this way. It did not give me the anxiety that I have now. Something changed in the city post that pandemic, and I don't know. I can't pinpoint it as to why. I don't know if it's because we were all inside and we just forgot how to be around each other.
I mean, I think that was definitely part of it coming out of lockdown, especially right in the beginning. I did my show and then I got a job bartending down in the West Village, and people were just animals. They just didn't know how to react. I've never bartended at a place where the customers were more shitty to us, the bartenders, than at the spot I was at.
It's crazy.
Happiest Hour, West Village, West 10th. Don't go there. It sucks. And the manager is a sociopath. She banned me after I quit.
She banned you?
She banned me.
Because you quit?
Because I quit.
That's petty.
It is petty.
That's so petty.
It's so petty, right?
Oh, definitely not going there.
No.
Spread the word.
I've already told everyone. So.
Now that we got that out of our systems, right?
Segues are weird. You have a little. It's a short film, right? I haven't seen it yet. Miss Anonymous. I wrote down all of these accolades that it got, and I hope you use this as one of the commercials. The new, what is it? NYFA Best Comedy, Best Parody, Best Acting Ensemble, Best Monologue for Brian. List Off Film Festival. It was a trendsetter short selection. Official selection, Georgia Film Festival. Manhattan Film Festival, Best Christmas Short. New Jersey Film Awards, Best Female Filmmaker. Best Supporting Actor, Brian. Best Comedy Short, you, because you wrote and directed and produced. And then I ran out of paper because I got stuff on the other side. And so I'm sure there's more. This is wildly successful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. That's huge. So I have not seen it yet. I don't think that I've had the opportunity to unless I attend one of these festivals. It's not online yet, right?
It is actually.
It is.
For the month of July only.
Amazing.
It's online with the Liftoff Global Network. It's kind of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Liftoff Global Network New York Festival.
Okay.
Oh, so that's a Trendsetter Shorts one that you
got
had listed. So that's online.
Okay.
And it's only for July. And it's pretty affordable. It's pretty cheap.
Okay.
To watch and screen. And you can watch all the other films too,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. My film is only 17 minutes, so it's
Nice.
right under 20. Won't take too much time.
Take too long.
to
Little
get through.
Christmas in July feeling,
Yes,
positive vibes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll take this and make sure, because your episode will come out in August, but I'll make sure that this part gets released in July,
Oh, you're
so that you can
amazing.
share, and then everyone, like, I'll share it, and then hopefully we get a little more traffic there
Thank
for
you,
it.
Justin.
Yeah, of
You are the
course.
best.
And then obviously I'm going to watch it too.
Yay.
Now that I
yes.
know that I can.
Well, I'd love to know what you think. I mean,
Yeah.
we've worked together before. You're also an artist, actor. I'm so open to feedback. This being my very first written short, so I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. What can you tell us about it real quick without too many spoilers? We know it's a Christmas thing. I'm going based on the production shots that I've seen of like people in a circle and the fact that it's Xmas Anonymous. Is it like a Alcoholics Anonymous parody type thing?
Yep.
People that are obsessed with Christmas?
Yes, you nailed it.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah, it's so it was originally a sketch idea that I had. And it was supposed to just be 2 pages. It was supposed to be a very quick, I don't know, I honestly cannot tell you why I came up with this. It just kind of came to me.
Because you're not obsessed with Christmas at all.
Well, maybe just a little. Well, my family is crazy. Like they love Christmas.
I've seen the pictures.
Oh, so you know, yes.
I mean, I've been following you now for what? As long as I've known you.
You've seen all my family Christmas albums.
Yeah.
They love Christmas. We celebrate when I'm with them. I mean, they go all out. We just went on a Christmas cruise last year, so it's pretty intense with the Smedley family. And it just kind of, I don't know, and also just generally speaking, right? Like today we start celebrating Christmas the day after Halloween. So I was just kind of inspired by how intense and extreme the holiday has become, and I wanted to make fun of the commercialism of it all. Quite literally taking the Christ out of Christmas do not expect, this is not like a family-friendly short Christmas movie. It's more like National Lampoons.
Fantastic.
Than a Christmas Story. But it's like a sketch-inspired adult Christmas comedy. Essentially, it's like a group of Christmas addicts, and I won't give too much away yet. They all have their own very unique, quirky obsessions with Christmas. And then this new member comes in, who's also very proud of her addiction. And
is this you?
This is me.
Yeah.
She's very naughty.
Not kid friendly.
Not for kids. She's very creative. That's all I can say. But she loves group activities. She is one of my favorite characters, I think. So essentially, by the end of it, all of the addicts, they kind of embrace who they are. They kind of come to terms with their addictions, and they find, I think, as zany and ridiculous as it is, there is so much heart to it. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted that because it is Christmas. And it is, the season of hope and giving and love and being with family and friends. And maybe that is what Christmas is. Like, if you don't want to go the religious route, right? It's still, you feel that, during the entire season. And I really wanted to capture that. Like, no matter how you celebrate Christmas, you get to do it together. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I love that. I love that they all kind of come together at the end. I hope I didn't give anything away.
I think that's a great summary without spoiling too much. One of the awards that I saw, it got Best Monologue. Mm-hmm. That's Brian.
Yes.
And he's wearing a soldier helmet, an army helmet. I don't want to know too much, but I am curious how long his monologue goes, because Best Monologue Award is not something that I think is given away lightly.
No, I was very, very happy that he won that, because the very first day I sent it to him, he was already like workshopping it. He's like so Brian Riley is my romantic partner and producing partner. I should probably clarify. And
love interest on and off screen.
I know. I'm also going to do a quick plug. Our production company, which we co-founded together, is Blue Plumbago Productions. And you can check out more about Xmas Anonymous, the film that we just shot, and our future projects at blueplumbagoproductions.com.
Plumbago, spelled as it is.
Yep.
As her. Yeah, cool.
Plumbago. Would have been really embarrassing if I misspelled that. But plumbago, like the flower.
Okay, I was gonna ask
Yeah.
what plumbago comes from.
Yes.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, we wanted to pick something that we both felt that we were personally late bloomers as artists. Like, not only did we find each other later in life, but we started this creative journey making movies together later. And it just felt right, you know, to honor that essence of our creative journeys. So that's where the blue plumbago came from.
It's cute. That's cute. That's really cute.
Oh gosh.
That's super
Everyone's
cute.
throwing up right now.
Everyone's throwing up. This is one of those things where someone's watching and then it cuts to them watching on their phone. It's like, I am so fucking
Yeah, like,
single.
we just lost all of our listeners. No
All
one
of-
wants to listen to me anymore.
Yeah.
But the monologue is, it's about a page. It actually might be a little bit more than a page.
Oh wow.
It's like a page and a paragraph, maybe.
Yeah.
Which was so fun to write. I personally, I would really, like, as a writer and filmmaker, storyteller, what have you, I want to bring monologues back. I feel like just personally, I mean, I don't want to like put down any art, because I think all art is great, no matter if it's dialogue heavy or not. But I do feel that the things I've been seeing and the things I've been auditioning for are not so dialogue heavy anymore. And I think people are kind of afraid to go there. I don't know why, because growing up, you know, with our movies, like in the 90s, I just felt like there were always, like, the thing that comes to mind for me is like Kevin Smith's Chasing Amy. So many like chunky text, like these amazing scenes that are just so character driven, and it's like I feel like people are afraid to go there because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to bore my audiences. Like, I don't want to listen to a guy talk, you know, for a page monologue. Like, but I do believe if the writing is there and the acting is there, it can be captivating. Like, it just needs to be streamlined. Like, as long as everything in that monologue is driving the story, then it's not senseless, and it's not fluff, and it's not a waste of anyone's time. And I'm just so happy for Brian, because it is an insane monologue. And if there's any reason for you to go watch this film, you don't even have to watch the rest of the film. Like, his monologue opens the film. Just watch the beginning. Just watch the monologue and see what he does with it, because it's so funny. It's so funny. And I wrote it, so, so I feel weird saying that. Watch it, no one find it funny, but I think it's a testament to what I would like to continue doing. I was really happy that landed. I was so worried, just generally, because this film is kind of weird, and it's also a lesson, I think, for people who are thinking about writing and starting that journey, filmmaking or being a writer, is just, I don't know. Like, this really was a chance. I took a chance. It's like, this is what no one else is doing right now. No one else is making satirical parody Christmas comedies with page-long monologues, with a guy dressed up in an army helmet, with lights attached to it. And I just was so afraid people weren't going to get that. And also just afraid people weren't going to find it funny.
Right.
Comedy is so hard.
It's one of the most difficult things. I don't think people understand it. It's like, and any kind of comedy, you know, you're asking people to laugh.
Yep.
And people are so not willing to laugh easily. And I don't know what that is. I think we used to laugh much easier. I mean, you go back and you look at all the stupid comedies from the 90s and the 2000s, and we just enjoyed laughing more.
So much escape in filmmaking then.
Yeah.
There was so much escape. Like, I definitely understand why the stories that are predominantly being told now are definitely heavy in commentary, heavy in contemporary issues and realism. Like, they're grounded in a place that, yes, every single person right now can completely relate to in some way and understand that. But I don't know. For me, as a storyteller, I just really want to escape. Like, at the end of the day, I just don't want to watch something that's going to remind me of the things I already think about all day long.
Yeah.
I really want to make people laugh, and I really want to make people feel good. And I want to make them feel safe. Like, it's okay to laugh. Like, it's okay to be stupid and be zany and still connect to that. Because I also do believe that life is that insane. Life is just listen to our stories. Being in New York especially, we literally experience the insanity of humanity on the biggest and smallest levels on a weekly basis. And it's like, how do you take that energy and like that through line, but put it in a lens that feels comfy, you know? And I feel like that's kind of what I want to do.
I like that. I feel like there's a hole in the entertainment world for that. I think, I mean, you said it, and then my brain started going through all the movies that I've seen lately, and it's like, no, there's like not really been a movie that hasn't had a point or a message or a political alignment or a this or a that in the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 8, 10 years. And I haven't seen every movie. Who has? I mean, Nick is doing that podcast where he literally watches every movie, but that guy also loves movies.
I know. I love his passion for film so much.
I don't know if you saw it, him and I and Jane and a few other people did that short film that he wrote and directed like a month and a half ago.
The Remember Life, which everyone should keep an eye out for because I'm very excited.
Because it's coming soon to a screen of some sort. I don't know how or where or when.
Nick will find a way.
He's going to find a way.
I'm so happy he brought you in for that. That was so fun. Me too. What a fun reunion.
Yeah. You know, I still haven't seen Adults.
I thought you did.
Nope. No? I just filmed a scene where you threw me through a window and then I left and that was it. I never saw it.
You gotta
and
ask him for the link.
I did, because he was like, this is my best Nick impression. It's like, I can get you a link.
That was very good.
Thank you.
Has he seen you do that?
No, I don't like doing my impressions to people about themselves.
Oh my gosh! Well, he's gonna listen to this and he's gonna love it.
I hope
Hopefully.
so. I hope so.
I mean, I thought that was really great.
Yeah. It's just like this very like, there's like, I can get you a link. He's so
grounded.
Yeah. I loved
in this presentation.
I forget what they called it, but like it was the last shot of the day. And it wasn't the martini shot, because I know that's the actual last shot of the day, the actual terminology. But he wanted to do something like, it wasn't like a vanity shot. It wasn't like an ego shot, but it was a shot that he wanted to try that didn't make sense. But he was like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to see if it works. And his partner on set was like, all right, you get one. Mm-hmm. And then they did it. And then he was like, it worked.
That's so good. Yeah. I guess. It's really good. Oh gosh. I'm so No. I have someone coming on tomorrow and I'll do an impression of you for her tomorrow. All right, actually today. I would be down for that. As long as I'm not here. See, it does.
No, you won't be. No, you won't be here. No,
I can listen to it.
Plus I need the day to like workshop it in the mirror, work on the expressions.
Just listen to our episode.
There you go. Just over and over and over. I'll sleep with it.
I'm so annoyingly animated. I'm not hard to do.
I don't know what you mean. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, my deep cackles and my Italian hands.
Are you Italian? I didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
I get it. Bentley hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like I saw some flying around and.
He's so fluffy. He's so cute, but his fur is literally, it is worth it. Yeah. I'm starting to feel bad though, because I'm working 2 jobs and I hate leaving him alone so often. And he hates that I leave him alone so often.
Would you say he's a dog cat? Is he like?
He's a dog cat. Yeah.
I was sensing that when I met him.
I have several videos of me just like I'll lay down on the couch like as flat as possible, like maybe just head on a pillow, and he'll like in 2 seconds be up on my chest, and then like he'll like sit down He'll sit down pretty quick, and then he'll like, because I'm not the floor. I'm not as wide as the floor, and there are ridges and curves to the shape of my body. And he like works on getting comfortable, and then eventually he'll like get down, and then his face is like right here, and then I'll go, and he'll like,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
yeah,
I
he's
just love
super
it.
cute.
No,
He's
I love
super
it.
cute.
I love your connection with him. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was like such a cat lady.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
He's the
Geeking out over
he's
this.
he's the best little boy. That thing,
Yeah, what is that?
That-
Litter box?
litter box.
That looks like a
It's-
space pod.
It's going back tomorrow.
Oh, it does not work.
It works. He hates it.
Is he afraid of it? I mean, it does look very, very mysterious.
He will use it. So see the tan part?
Yeah.
That part comes off.
Mm.
And I think he's claustrophobic because he won't go in it. And I'm not going to blast the brand because they're having success.
Totally.
But it's going back tomorrow, and I've ordered a different one that's half the price and is just like a wide opening. And then that one is automatic.
Oh,
And
that's
then
cool.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he's finicky about his litter box. And if I'm gone on a 12-hour shift, he'll use it 2, 3, 4 times, however many times. I'd like for it to be able to clean itself for him. And also, I don't want to work a 12-hour shift, come home, and then clean a cat box.
Justin, I do not blame you.
Yeah.
That is not a fun end to the
Not
day.
a fun end to the day.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's all right, guys. We're gonna have to listen to us talk about our cats for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get that because I think some cats, they say they I don't know how to put this. Some cats enjoy the enclosed spaces, but like Jane Austen, my little fur baby, she would not like that either.
Yeah.
She has an open
She's
litter.
big, though. Bentley's
Yeah.
big. I think it's big cats that don't like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure it feels even smaller than
Yeah.
it actually is because it looks very nice. I mean, you're a great cat dad for even attempting this.
I tried, yeah.
State of the art cat litter
Yeah.
situation. I mean, he's very lucky.
He is. He I mean, I'm doing okay for him. Yeah.
Aw.
I want to get him a buddy, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But like a small guy, just like a little guy.
Wait, how old is Bentley?
He was born in February, so I think at this point he's 3.5.
Okay, so yeah, now is the perfect time. You can not saying he wouldn't be receptive to another cat later in life. I just know the older they get, I feel like they're a little
Yeah.
less tolerant to new
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
So
which is fair.
Now's a good time.
Yeah. And then, he wouldn't be alone throughout the day,
Yeah,
which
that's
I think is the most important thing. And I can't get a dog, and I can leave a cat alone for 12 hours. I can't leave a dog alone for 12 hours.
No.
As much as I would love to have a dog,
Yeah.
but I need to wait until the Marvel contract comes through before I can
Totally.
get a dog. Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. Like the second I make it, I am getting an apartment in the city
Yep.
with a yard.
With a yard.
Definitely
For a
yard
dog.
or some kind of like, I don't know, balcony big enough for like fake grass, whatever.
Something.
And definitely getting a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Little,
it's so
little
much,
dog, big dog.
so much. Oh, well, Brian wants a big dog, but I personally like the little ones.
It's because Brian's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I haven't met
No,
Brian yet,
no,
which
it's
is kind of
fine.
wild to think I haven't met Brian yet.
I know, and now you're gonna have to.
I'm going to have to.
Well, I'm also, just so you know, keeping you in mind for we have so many ideas. It's almost a problem. I feel like it's a good problem to have, but I'm like trying to figure out how to realistically do all of it in like such a short amount of time because I feel like I'm making up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't doing this when I should have been, and now I'm like scrambling to like get all my stuff out now. But we definitely like have like I would love to work with you. Like he would as well. Like if you will meet him, I'm sure at some point, like socially
Yeah.
in a like normal
I'd also love to have him on the podcast.
Brian, you're being summoned. He does express he doesn't enjoy these things like
Okay,
interviews.
because I saw him on a different podcast.
Yes, and that was big for him. I was really proud that he did
He seemed
that.
like he had a good time, but he was just faking it.
No, he had so much fun. And
Okay.
he was so funny and great. And so
We'll
he
wait
should
for
know.
your episode to come out so he can see how like chill it is. this is a fake plant. It's like, it's all, no, it's a real plant.
I was gonna say, it feels
I was
real.
just trying to make him feel like more at ease. Like everything's fake. You don't need to worry about it.
Get him one of those little stress balls that he can just squeeze.
I
throughout
have
the
one
whole
of
session.
those. I have one of those somewhere. Did you see these? My little cat planters.
Oh my god.
They don't have plants in them
You
because
should put little plants in them.
I'm buying a couple plants every month because I have so many planters, and most of the plants are in my room right now. But
I love that.
Yeah.
You keep things alive. I've tried doing the plant life, but I just end up like killing them. But our apartment also doesn't get much sunlight, so it's not really my fault.
I have grow lights. Yeah. When we're done, just
That's
like
serious business.
peek
getting the
peek
grow
through the door, and you'll see that there are lights on. Those are grow lights.
Maybe that's what I do.
Yeah.
Because I bought so many plants when I first moved in with him, and it just like they died within a month. My basil plant, that's the only plant I knew I bought. All the other ones are mysterious to me. I don't know what they were. But they did not make it. And it's hard because I read somewhere that plants feel things and they know when they're dying. And I feel like I'm a murderer. I feel like I murdered my plants.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm sorry. That's really intense.
That's so. Oh my God.
Maybe it's the Aperol Spritz, but I'm
I
getting
have-
emotional about my plants right now.
I have a plant that I just can't seem to bring back from like a decline. Like he was like a small tree, and like you couldn't see through him. He had that much green going. And then one day, like I just see a brown branch, and I'm like, all right, one brown branch. And then the next day there were 3, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Is it he needs water? Like I give him water, and like the next day nothing, but then a day later a bunch more, and I'm like, he can't have gone through the water that quickly. And so like I pot him with new soil and everything, and the next day more brown branches, and then like I do the whole like get all the soil away from the roots, like with like the hose or the thing on my sink, and I'm spraying it and it's just the roots, and then all brand new soil, and then I flood the soil, and I had clipped away all of the soggy like I was really trying. And then I plant him, and then like 3 days go by. He's in the grow light. My room is like in the 70s. It's not like too hot or too cold. And I'm just like, what is going on? And now he's got no more leaves, and I just don't know what to do. And I'm not sure if it's because it's a tree, so it's got like a wooden like trunk. And I'm not sure if he's dead or if he can come back. I checked the soil today. It's damp. And you're not supposed to water it until it dries out, and I don't know what to do.
Oh,
girl,
I'm so sorry. I'm worse than your
Girl.
cat. I just kicked the
what are you
camera.
doing?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was fidgeting. I'm so sorry. You'll cut this out?
No.
Oh!
No, because that's funny.
Oh man. Well, for anyone listening, I just kicked Justin's camera. It's about me now. I'm the host and
We're just
interviewee.
gonna aim all the cameras at you.
I'm so sorry.
Ugh.
I had to switch positions.
Sure.
My leg.
Yeah.
I'm a crisscrosser. I just feel more at home crisscrossed.
I am not flexible, so that I'm the opposite. So this is about the best I can do.
crisscrossy as you get.
This is as crisscrossy as I can get. Well, I tore the meniscus in my knee because I'm
my God.
old. A year ago.
I'm
No.
sorry.
A year ago. Barbenheimer weekend? Was that 1 year or
You
2
went
years?
hard that weekend.
I was
2 years ago.
it was 2 years ago.
Wait, was it? Shoot.
Barbenheimer?
Now I don't
2023?
know.
2023, 2022.
Oh my gosh. If it was literally last year, it was last year.
It was 2023, yeah.
Wow.
The
See,
21st.
Friends, time goes very fast. That's wild. That feels like a millennia ago.
Seriously. I was at work and we were trying this awful party brunch thing that did not work because my old boss has bad ideas.
Moment of silence. For all bad ideas.
And it was Barbenheimer weekend, so I told the DJ, I'm like, hey, play Barbie Girl by Aqua. And he played it, and the bar was empty. We had been open for 2 hours, and I start like dancing around, but it's more like jump dancing, like you're in a club.
Yeah.
And I came down, and something popped.
Oh, Justin.
And I'm just old now.
They say once you hit 30, your body is different.
Oh, it turns on you.
You do feel it.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm worried about dog walking. It like, so first of all, I didn't expect to still be doing this at this point in my life. I mean, you did.
Same.
Yes. I mean, you start,
I've-
as a bartender, you're also on your feet. It's a very physical, laborious job.
I've had my last service industry job like 5 times.
Yeah. I mean,
This is
right?
the
You're
last-
like, this is the
last
last
one.
year.
Yep.
This is the last
Yep.
year. 10 years later.
I signed with this agency. Last year I'm going to be doing this job.
Yep. And your body doesn't, like, I look back at the things I was able to do in my early 20s. Oh my God, like, I dog walk all day. I was dog walking even harder then because I worked for a company which completely just exploited their workers. I mean, worked 5 times harder for like significantly less pay. And then I would go and like party all night, and then I'd wake up early and do it again. My body was fine. Could not do that now. I mean, I am not working as hard the way I used to, and I'm feeling it. Like the my back hurts all the time, and everyone says you're only, how old am I? Am I 32? I think I'm also turning 33 this year, so I'm gonna.
Oh no, I'm
join you in
turning
that club.
34. When's your birthday?
November 14th.
I will be 34 before you turn 33.
Well, I'll be. You're still not
Almost,
too
yeah.
alone. I'm still close.
We're close. We're close.
But
It's fine.
I just remember I was like in my 30s. I felt the change. Like I just can't do the same work all day the way I used to anymore.
Yeah.
It hurts, and I'm so afraid something like what happened to you is gonna happen to me. Anything with your legs, your knees.
Yeah.
Horrible.
My left leg, it's my knee and my ankle.
Oh my God.
And it's just I can't run.
I was gonna say, because that is a permanent injury almost. Like I've heard that from people who have had anything done in that area. They're like, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Like your body just does not walk the same
No.
anymore.
And you can't.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I mean, look, I can walk pretty normally.
No, you don't have a cane or anything.
I don't have a cane or it.
Well,
No,
you look
no.
pretty cool with a cane.
I mean,
Maybe embrace that later in life.
I mean, I don't want to be the cool guy with the cane at 33.
Ooh,
I can be the
cool guy with a cane with like it has like a silver like cat head on the top.
Ooh.
That's
I
my
like
idea.
that. Ooh, I really like that.
I'd be like,
All right,
call
message
me
message
Cat Daddy.
message Oh God, I'm gonna die alone if I call myself Cat Daddy. Or I'll need to find a super specific girlfriend that's just weird enough to like that.
There is definitely that person
Yeah.
out there, and she's listening right now.
I hope so. You can find me right here. It's me. I'm the me. Can you see me? It's me. Hi.
Come on, ladies.
Come on.
Come on.
Slide in these DMs.
Yeah, cat ladies everywhere.
Cat. I think, and I might be wrong, I think the last 3 or 4 girls that I've gone on like 1 or 2 dates with have legitimately stopped dating me because I have a cat.
That is insane.
Well, I think I think they were allergic.
Oh.
So I think it's
Not insane.
I don't think it's insane.
Allergies.
It's allergies, but like I've offered like I'll get the purifiers and Bentley's not allowed in my room, you know?
there you go.
So the room would be free and
Cat-free.
clear and vacuum, and I'm a pretty clean person, as you can see,
You
except
are.
for the little tumbleweeds which came off of him as we were petting him
Oh,
today.
Shoot, you're right. I feel like you're not helping our case now.
Well,
with
no,
our
but
previous
like,
comments.
you know, if someone were to be like, you know, I would have him like groomed regularly,
Yeah.
like have him like trimmed down pretty consistently, as opposed to, you know, he was full fur 2 days ago, and I give him a haircut because of the heat, you know,
Yeah.
more than anything else.
I'm surprised. That's kind of funny. you are drawn to women who are allergic to cats. Like, I just find that to be, like, how does that happen? Like,
I think it's random.
that's bad luck.
It's bad luck. Yeah,
Man.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, I know plenty of cat-loving lasses.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm doing the gross, disgusting, horrifying, makes you feel bad about yourself dating apps.
That's the only, and it's not your fault. That's
It's
like
not.
the only
Well,
thing
no,
you can
yeah.
do.
Well, and working 7 days a week, it's not like I even have time to go out on a date with any of these people that I might match with, but it's also, where am I going to meet people? Because I can't date someone I work with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in my 30s. I'm not in my 20s. I can't do that anymore.
That does not, we know how that ends.
Yeah. And who else am I? Yeah, exactly. Badly.
We know.
And who else am I meeting? I'm not meeting anyone else.
Yeah. Well, and like we were saying earlier, people just don't. I mean, it applies to the dating scene too. I just don't think people are looking for people the way they used to, like in a serious way. Like, nobody knows how to actually have a conversation with someone anymore. It's weird. Like, you go to I don't go out that much anymore. But when even towards the end when I was, it was always so strange. I always felt like I'd go into a bar and I was like, oh, okay, there's like, everyone's like segregated off in their different groups, and no one just goes up to you anymore, right? And it's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. What's your name? Very simple, easy. It's like hard. It's hard. And it goes on both sides, because I do not think, for the record, that it's up to just the guys. Ladies, you can go up to a guy too. Introduce yourself. Just saying. It's not hard. It's not scary. And honestly, they like it. Like, take some initiative. You know?
Take notes, ladies.
Yeah, just, you know, I just, I don't know. It's a different scene. It's just a different scene now, meeting people. The dating apps are the quickest and easiest way to meet someone. But like you said, it's like you spend hours having conversations with someone, doing the back and forth thing, talking to multiple people at once, which gave me anxiety personally. Like, seriously stressed me out. I like lost track. I was like, I can't do this. It's overwhelming me now.
Yeah, you have to.
I can't even get back to my own friends on time.
Go back and read and be like, all right, what was I talking to this person?
Right?
Who is this? Oh, it's this. Oh, we were talking about this movie. Great. Okay, now I know how to respond. It's a nightmare. And then, you know, you don't have any real connection with them because you've never met them. And so then one or the other person stops responding because they just forgot that person exists, because they don't, like, you're not a person in my mind or your mind yet. You're so-and-so on Hinge. You know, you're out there somewhere. I don't know anything about you except what these 5 pictures of you look like.
And we definitely live in a culture now where we're always looking for the next best thing, which just doesn't exist. And I think that's such an unhealthy way to be, because if you are always looking for the best thing, you're never going
to be satisfied.
Never.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that. Like, once you find someone that you're interested in, just stick with it. Like, get to really know this person, you know? Like, really invest. Like, just invest some time into getting to know someone. I'm not saying people don't do that at all. I'm just saying, I think generally speaking, it's most people don't know how anymore.
And I think it's also a New York problem too, because there's so many more people. Like, my mom makes the joke all the time. She's like, I'm 33, I'm not married. They got married at 22 and 23, my mom and dad. And my mom says, she's like, if you moved back to Michigan, I think you'd be married within 2 years.
And maybe that's true.
I probably is true. I would start going out and then, you know, meeting my friends' friends. And people don't set each other up with people anymore either. Did you ever notice that? Yeah. It's like, hey, I want you to meet my friend one night. Why don't we all go and grab a drink at this spot? And I want to introduce you to my friend, Julia.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, no worries.
Who cares?
But at least because that's the best way, I think. That would be an ideal way to meet someone. I'm trying to think about my single friends now for you. I don't really have any. Well, I don't have many friends right now, so
friends are
or
overrated.
They're married with kids.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the thing too, right? The older we get, it's like people are already
Yeah.
married and like popping out their third baby by now. So
Or on their, sadly, on their first divorce.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
true. I will never forget when. Do you remember? It was an Upper East Side bar. It was a brunch spot. Uptown, downtown.
Love Uptown,
remember
Downtown.
that
Yeah.
Did you go with us there once? You might have. Maybe.
I don't know if I went with you guys, but I've definitely been there. It was like coffee shop and then bar. Yeah.
Yes. I'll never forget. Must have been 24. We were in the bathroom, and we're drunk, we're pretty flustered, and we're in there, and we're talking about like breakups and like how like all of our other girlfriends are like getting married, and I'll never forget. This badass of a woman struts out of the bathroom stall, and she's like, don't cry. She's like, I'm here celebrating my friend's divorce. She's like, just wait till they're 30. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that because, and she's not wrong.
No, she's not wrong.
She's like, you guys are young. She's like, yeah, they're getting married now.
Yeah. Give it time.
Sorry, now I sound like a love hater. I'm not.
No.
I believe in love.
Yeah. Well, you and Brian have been together for what, 4 years now?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're a pandemic couple.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I know a lot that didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird time, isn't it? It's like people were either like breaking up or like hooking up.
Yeah.
It was such a serious, like extreme polar opposites happening at the same time.
I heard of a study that said that the amount of experience that people got like living together under those circumstances, that 1 year of extreme lockdown, and like not the one after where it like loosened up a bit, but the extreme lockdown 1 year aged relationships by 10 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, see, and that's so unfair,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
To be
So
forced.
yeah.
In that way, it's like the ultimate test, like this unexpected trial that you have to go through with your partner, which otherwise might not have happened if it wasn't for a pandemic. It's just such an intense time.
Yeah.
I'm sure in some cases it's probably a blessing, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I'm glad now I know what it would have been like, like we wouldn't have maybe moved in together or done these things and spent this much time together otherwise. And I would have found out way later in life. So it's a good thing it happened now. But I do also believe maybe for some couples that it like that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the pandemic, which is kind of is unfair.
It's hard to say. I don't know. I was in one of those relationships that ended during lockdown.
Oh, sorry, Justin.
Not like mostly because of lockdown, but it was a lot of we had some problems, and then lockdown just made them worse and put it in.
Magnifies it all.
It magnified it, and then there was a positive feedback loop where it's like when you have two phones on speakerphone talking to each other, and then it keeps getting louder, and it's that like high pitched screeching thing.
Yeah.
It was like that where my insufficiencies made her insufficiency, like her anxiety, bigger, which made my insufficiency bigger, big, and it was just too much for both of us.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But that wouldn't have happened not with a lockdown.
100%. Yeah.
So.
Well, would you say? Well, actually, I don't know if I should.
No,
I don't
ask.
want to make you uncomfortable.
No.
I don't know how personal we can get on this.
Go for it.
I guess pretty personal. We are splitting a bottle.
We sure are.
I was just gonna say, like in your case, I mean, do you feel like that is a blessing in disguise, or was it something or do you think it was just like the pandemic getting the best of you and you both?
A little bit of both. It's hard to know which direction it would have gone.
Yeah.
So with some distance, I've kind of come to the conclusion that we had those problems, right? And they would have needed to have been addressed at one point or another. I'm wondering if we would have been able to like ignore them and then like get to the 1 year mark and then 2 year mark. And then like maybe we would have ignored them into engagement and then marriage. And then we would have been one of the couples that got divorced because we ignored the problems too long and whatnot.
More couples do that.
Right. So I'm so happy that that didn't happen
Yeah.
for both of us. I'm sure she's out there and happy that that didn't happen as well. Then there's another part of me that's like, well, what if we had
Yeah, what if there was
discovered them and worked through them in a healthy way
Yeah.
without the lockdown? But
Yes.
I think I'm probably leaning towards that wouldn't have happened. I think it would have been more of a we would have kind of suppressed and ignored. I think both of us are benefiting from distance and having gone through that.
Yeah.
Because I know neither of us were in therapy before, and now, well, I haven't spoken to her in almost 3 years, but I know that I'm in therapy, and I know she was when we last spoke.
Good.
Yeah. So I think it's for the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, on the note of therapy, here's a segue for you. I also just recently started therapy a year ago, and it absolutely changed my life. I would not have created Xmas Anonymous and been on this amazing journey that I'm on right now if it was not for therapy. And I was in therapy, I was in family therapy, mind you. Like, and also had some private sessions, but it was a completely unrelated thing that I had to personally take care of for myself, something that I had been dealing with my entire life, that I had finally gotten to the point where I'm like, this needs to be done now. And thank goodness my family member was also on board with that. If anyone is wondering if therapy really works, please invest in it. I don't care if it's like the best therapist in town or an online therapist, like anything helps. It's so, I don't know, I'd love to hear your personal perspective on this too, because when I started dealing with or talking to my therapist, we did it for a whole year, and I need to get back to it, honestly, because I don't think you should stop. I think you should continue. You could always there's always something, right, to be working on. The journey doesn't end there. But it opened up this like portal in my entire mind. I saw life differently. I saw myself differently. I looked around me and saw everyone around me differently. I feel like once you start doing that healing work, like and that's the thing too about therapy, you don't just show up. You have to actually do the work, and you have to be willing to say, I need work. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't go into therapy and be like, my therapist is wrong. No, like I'm right. Like you have to really, really listen and really reflect. And ever since I started that journey, it kind of like infiltrated the rest of my creative life and personal life with my friends, which is why I don't have so many anymore. But in a good, that sounds bad, but it was good. It's like you start to see unhealthy patterns within yourself and the people you're surrounding yourself with, and you start to realize who's really there, right? Like who's real, you know? It's like not this idea of like the life I was living and the people I was surrounding myself with. You do see everything differently. Yeah. And ever since that, I started like cutting off all of these like toxic limbs I was carrying, and unhealthy things that no longer served me. And it's like the second I started doing that, as difficult and lonely and scary as that was, because that was a really uncomfortable time in my life. It was like 2022, sorry, into 2023. Very dark. But it's like once you get past that, the good things find their way. Like they just kind of like, you start to attract goodness in like the things that are meant for you. And it sounds so corny, and it sounds like all the things you see on Instagram, right? But it actually is true. Like I genuinely, my journey with like my creative journey as a producer and writer now has been less than a year. Like your life can literally change the second you decide you want it to, you know? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I sound like a, oh my God, sorry. But, but it is true. I really do believe and maybe it's not therapy for you, maybe it's something else, but I do think healing work transcends into other aspects of your life in the most positive way. I mean, maybe I'm not where I thought I would be now, you know, but I'm in a good place now, like a healthy place, and I'm like making art, and like that's at the end of the day kind of all I really wanted to do, you know. It's you don't need to be surrounded by a harem of people that are not, you know, genuine or actually supportive and like helping you push forward. It's like you start to see the things that were holding you back the entire time. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see it then at all, but now I do, and it's good to break through that and start anew, you know?
Yeah.
Did you, like, I just feel like it does affect every part of your life. You
Yeah.
know?
I did online. I did it so I was coming out of lockdown pretty depressed and like aware that I was depressed, like having trouble motivating to do anything. And I had gained a lot of weight in lockdown. Pardon me.
Oh, am I boring you, Justin?
No,
I'm kidding.
I'm the one talking. I'm
so
boring
sorry.
myself.
No,
Feel like I've told this story 1,000 times.
No. Oh, you can tell it to me. I haven't heard it. Wait, on the podcast? You
No.
Good. Sorry. Sorry.
Way to tell me you don't listen.
No, I have listened to episodes, just so everyone knows. But that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't know if you did, because I definitely didn't listen to that one.
No, it was I was depressed, and then I started therapy, and you know they say, you know, it gets a little bit better, and then it gets worse than it was when you started, and then you start coming up and start getting like better than you were when you started. Yeah. Usually, every case is different, obviously, but I remember realizing like 3 months in, oh, I haven't been depressed since lockdown. I've been depressed for way longer, and I have had these unhealthy habits for way longer. And I've, you know, maybe blacking out on a Wednesday night isn't a sign of me being in a good place, you know? You know, because I don't work until 3 p.m. the next day, I can black out until 4 or 5. Like right. That's not a good spot to be in. Just like the way that, not to bring up the relationship again, the way that I didn't show up in all of these ways that, you know, if you were to say it to me now, it's like, well, yeah, of course, like I'm going to do that for whomever I'm with. You know, why wouldn't I? And it's like, well, I wasn't. Well, you know, there are reasons for that. And some of them on me, some of them out of my control. Obviously, it's not my fault that we went into a worldwide lockdown. But I was also partially responsible for how I reacted to that. And then also partially not. You know, you get told going outside might kill you. Your body and your brain are going to react a certain way. For real. And you can either believe it or not. But either way, we stayed inside. And, you know, I think Jim Carrey talked about it too. He's like, depression is, you know, a disease, and, you know, it's hard to fight. But if you don't eat right, if you don't exercise, if you don't see sunlight, et cetera, you're not even giving yourself a chance. And that's kind of what we were told we needed to do. Not the sunlight thing exactly, but I was living in the back of a building on the first floor. So the no sunlight thing was kind of part of it. Like, you know, so therapy definitely helped bring me out of that. And there were definitely days where I didn't want to show up, but I still did. And I don't know if I got as much out of those, but there were a lot of days where I, you know, sat down and started and felt way better after, and then felt way better throughout the day, and then walked into work at the happiest hour in the West Village on West 10th Street and felt way worse because that place was toxic as fuck. Yeah. For effect. I don't mean to cut us off, but
no. Did we do it?
we're at an hour and
oh my god,
25, which is 10 minutes past my limit.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. No, I could do this all night. And I would, but I don't want to edit a 5-hour episode.
No, I don't believe
you. Thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Cheers. Yeah, of
Cheers.
course. Come
you
back
so
and
much.
let's keep this up and
Yes.
more Subway stories and
Yes,
and
yes.
all the things.
Definitely. Oh my goodness. So much life to talk about.
So
much art
much.
to talk about.
Yeah.